Hey there, and welcome. Tonight, we're stepping softly into one of the most slippery, most quietly strange mysteries in the universe. Something we live inside every moment, something we measure and name and schedule. And yet, when we look too closely, it starts to fall apart. It's called time. We say we have it. We say we lose it. We say we waste it, treasure it, run out of it. But what is it, really? This isn't a loud story. It doesn't rush. It doesn't explain everything. It simply opens the door to a question that's been following us for as long as we've been able to wonder. We're not here to solve the puzzle. We're just here to sit beside it, breathe beside it, and maybe, if we're lucky, fall gently asleep while the question rocks back and forth like a quiet tide. But before we begin, take a soft breath. Let the day fall away. Let your eyes grow heavy, even if they're still open. If you'd like to, you can pause here to like the video or subscribe, but only if this kind of slow, thoughtful drifting feels like home to you. And if you're listening from somewhere special, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What time it is, what the air feels like, what's keeping you company. Now, let's begin. Let's go slowly. Let's go softly. Time is already waiting. What do we mean when we say time is passing? We talk about time as if it were solid. A river flowing past us, one second after another, in perfect order. We imagine ourselves moving through it like passengers on a train, watching the scenery of moments slip by outside the window. Birth, laughter, shadows growing long in the afternoon, the hush of night falling across rooftops, a first kiss, a last goodbye. One moment replacing the next, never stopping, never circling back. Forward, always forward. But stop for a moment, right now. Where are you? In time. You might say now, this moment, the present, but by the time you name it, it's already gone. Try to hold it, and it slips between your fingers. Try to measure it, and it changes shape. You might remember something from earlier today that still feels real, alive, fresh in your mind. You might imagine something that hasn't happened yet, something that already makes your heart ache, or flutter, or smile. The past and the future, they feel like places, don't they? But where are they, really? You can't point to yesterday. You can't visit tomorrow. And yet, we live with them constantly. The strange thing about time is that it feels real, deeply real. The way hunger feels real, the way love feels real. But when you look closely, scientifically, physically, even philosophically, time starts to shimmer, to slip, to fold. Einstein once said that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubborn illusion. And in his theory of relativity, he showed us that time is not a fixed backdrop. It's something flexible, something that can bend, stretch, slow down, speed up. On a fast-moving spaceship, time moves differently than on Earth. Near a black hole, time passes more slowly. Gravity itself affects time, and the faster you go, the less of it you experience. But you, here in this bed, lying quietly in the dark, feeling your breath rise and fall, your time feels steady. You move 1 second at a time. You remember what came before. You imagine what's next. You live your life in a stream of now, 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 now. But what is now? There is no universal now. No great cosmic clock ticking off the same beat for everyone, everywhere. What feels like a moment to you might not be the same moment for someone light years away. Time is local, personal, fluid. Even the way we experience it in our minds shifts with our feelings. Boredom stretches minutes into hours. Joy makes hours feel like minutes. Trauma freezes it. Longing warps it. Memory rewrites it. Sleep erases it all together. So maybe time isn't something out there that we move through. Maybe it's something in here, unfolding with us, shaped by how we live, how we feel, how we notice, and when we lie still, like you are now, something strange happens. Time begins to soften. Minutes drift like fog. The future becomes hazy. The past grows quiet. And the only thing that remains is this: your breath, your body, your quiet presence in a universe that is still unfolding. You don't have to understand time to rest inside it. You don't have to measure it to feel it. Right now, time is not a ticking clock. It is a soft rhythm. It is the hush between thoughts. It is the warmth in your chest as you drift into stillness. Let it move around you like wind through trees. Let it carry you like water. Let it rock you to sleep. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly when you need to be. And time, whatever it is, will wait with you all through the night. If time is real, why did we have to invent a way to tell it? Once upon a time, before clocks ticked on every wall, before calendars pressed our lives into grids and boxes, there were only rhythms. The slow return of sunrise, the soft blooming of seasons, the regular exhale of the tide. These were the first clocks, not machines, but patterns. The sky was our schedule, and the moon was a keeper of quiet promises. People looked up, and they noticed the repetition, the return, the dance of light and dark, and they began to count. But time itself? Time didn't change, or only the way we paid attention to it did. The clock, in all its clean precision, is not time. It is a tool, a way to coordinate, to meet, to plan. But when you forget to look at the clock, when you're lost in music or deep in a dream, time feels different, doesn't it? The truth is, we don't feel hours. We don't feel minutes. We feel moments. The warmth of someone's hand in yours. The stillness of a room before you speak. The ache of goodbye. The echo of laughter. The pause before a kiss. The long exhale after a storm. These are the ways time touches us, not in numbers, but in meaning. And yet, we built clocks. We drew lines across days and weeks and years. We carved birthdays and deadlines into the skin of time, hoping to tame it, hoping to make sense of the forward march, to give shape to something we could never truly hold. But time, in its nature, resists being pinned down. Scientists have tried. They've built atomic clocks that tick with astonishing precision. They've measured time to the trillionth of a second. They've mapped how it changes with speed and mass and gravity. And still, When asked what time is, no one quite knows. Some say it's a dimension, like space. Others say it's an illusion, a side effect of entropy, of the universe's gradual slide into disorder. Some theories even suggest that time may not be fundamental, that beneath the surface of reality, time might not exist at all. And yet, we age. We remember. We dream forward. We carry time in our skin, in our bones, in the soft curve of a wrinkle, in the quiet ache of a memory that won't fade. You are a clock, too. A living, breathing record of time past. Not in numbers, but in presence, in the things you've seen, in the love you've given, in the laughter that shaped your voice. Tonight, as you rest here, no clock matters. No schedule, no deadline, no need to mark the hour. You are not late. You are not early. You are here. And time is not a thing you must chase or capture. It is a rhythm you can fall into. Let go of the ticking. Let go of the calendar. Let go of the lines we've drawn across the infinite. There is only this moment, and then the next, and the next. And each one is soft, and each one is enough. Close your eyes. Let your breath be your only clock. Let the rise and fall guide you gently into stillness. Time will keep moving, but you don't have to. For now, you are held. For now, you are home. And the only time that matters is this one, right here, as sleep begins to bloom. Why does time move forward? And could it ever flow backward? It's one of the simplest things we think we know. Time moves forward. We are born, we grow, we age, we remember. The cup falls, but it never unbreaks. The leaf drops, but it never returns to the branch. The candle burns down. The footprints fill with sand. The past lies behind us. The future remains unwritten. Always forward, never back. It feels so obvious that we barely question it. But if you stop to wonder, really wonder, it becomes strange. Why should time have a direction at all? The laws of physics, as we know them, don't seem to care. Whether time moves forward or backward, most of the equations still work. They're symmetrical, balanced, unconcerned. If we reverse the film of the universe, the math wouldn't notice. A planet orbiting a star works either way. A photon bouncing off a mirror still makes sense. Even at the quantum level, where particles blink in and out of certainty, the rules don't demand forward motion. And yet, here we are, living inside a universe where the arrow of time flies only one way. Why? The best explanation we have is something called entropy, the gradual increase of disorder in a system. In simple terms, things fall apart. Not because they must, but because there are more ways to be disordered than ordered. A shuffled deck has more possibilities than a perfect one. A melted ice cube has more microstates, tiny, invisible configurations, than a frozen one. So time flows in the direction of more possibilities, more chaos, more change. Entropy increases, and with it, the sense of past becoming future. This is why the egg scrambles but never reassembles. Why your coffee cools but doesn't reheat itself. Why we remember yesterday but not tomorrow. Time, it seems, is tied to the universe's desire to expand, to explore, to let go of perfection and move toward variety. But still, something inside us aches to reverse it, to go back, not just for physics, but for love, to unsay a word, to unlose a person, to relive the golden hour of a memory we didn't know was ending until it had already gone. We imagine time machines not to visit the dinosaurs or peek at the future, but to heal, to fix, to undo, to relive. But if time only flows one way, what does that mean for us? It means we live in a world that values now. A world where the past cannot be changed, but can be held. A world where the future is uncertain, but ours to touch. A world that instead of circling endlessly, pushes outward into newness, into risk, into creation. Forward doesn't mean lost. It means unfolding. It means that each breath you take is a beginning. Each choice, a change. Each sleep, a soft restart. Even memory, which reaches backward, is shaped by the present. You remember through the lens of who you are now. Your stories shift as you do. Time doesn't just flow forward, it flows through you. You are not being carried like a leaf in a stream. You are the stream. You are the motion, the noticing, the moment becoming the next. And yes, it can hurt, this forward motion, because it means we can't go back. We can't stay. We can only love what has passed and carry it into what's next. But there is also grace in that. There is peace in knowing that each moment arrives, blooms, and gently lets go. Like breath, like waves, like sleep. So tonight, as the arrow moves forward, don't fight it. Don't hold on. Let it carry you gently into the quiet, into the rhythm of your breath, into the softness of a moment that only happens once, and that is enough. The arrow is not your enemy. It is your companion, and it is leading you somewhere tender, somewhere real, somewhere new. Sleep now, not against time, but with it. The future is not waiting to judge you. It is waiting to welcome you. Could time be moving differently elsewhere? And would we even know? Time feels steady here, where you are. Second after second, like footsteps on a long, quiet path. You know this rhythm well. The way the day dims slowly into evening. The way your thoughts soften just before sleep. The way a week can stretch or snap depending on the weight you carry. But outside this room, beyond the softness of your breath and the stillness of the night, time may be doing something very different. Not just ticking faster or slower, but bending, stretching, rippling, shrinking. Time is not as consistent as it seems. The universe keeps many clocks, and not all of them agree. Einstein showed us that time is not an absolute thing, but a relationship, a weaving of motion and gravity and perspective. If you were to board a ship that traveled close to the speed of light, time would slow for you compared to those who stayed behind. Years might pass for them, while only moments passed for you. If you were to rest near the edge of a black hole, where gravity clings tightly to everything, time would stretch long and thin. From your point of view, it might feel normal. But from a distance, your moments would seem to freeze, to stall, to pause forever. And that's not science fiction. That's measured. That's real. Satellites orbiting Earth experience time ever so slightly differently than we do on the ground. And if we didn't correct for that, if we didn't account for the strange ways gravity and motion twist time, our GPS systems wouldn't work. Every time you find your way home with your phone, you're leaning on a truth far stranger than it appears. So what does this mean for you, lying in the dark, breathing slowly, wondering about the shape of existence? It means time isn't a single thread. It's a tapestry, woven from many threads, each one shaped by speed, by mass, by movement, by perspective. You might wonder, if time moves differently elsewhere, would anyone know? What does it mean to live in a universe where a moment for one person could be an eternity for another? Could something be happening right now, in another galaxy, or deep in the curve of space-time that feels simultaneous to us, but ancient to them? There is no master clock that oversees it all. No central tick, only local rhythms, personal beats, private time. It's like living in a vast orchestra where every instrument plays its own tempo. Slow cellos near black holes, racing violins near the speed of light, and the quiet, steady hum of human life somewhere in between. And yet, somehow, the song still makes sense, still unfolds, still moves. This is not chaos. It's intimacy, a universe where time is not imposed, but shaped by where you are, how fast you move, how deeply you sit in gravity's arms. So, when you feel like time is moving too quickly or dragging endlessly, you're not wrong. You're not imagining it. You are feeling the truth of your own clock, your inner rhythm, your experience of now, which is unlike anyone else's. And when you dream, when your body goes still and your mind opens like a window, your clock changes again. Minutes disappear. Hours rearrange. You wake up and wonder where you've been. Because time, in sleep, no longer obeys the same rules. It lets go. It floats. It becomes unmeasured. You are not failing to keep up. You are not behind. You are keeping time with your own life. And that time is valid. It is yours. It is true. Let yourself feel that now. That your breath has its own rhythm. That your rest is not a delay, but a return. That your sleep is not the absence of time, but a different kind of motion. A deep, invisible drift beneath the surface of waking. Close your eyes, if they're not already closed. Let your body slow. Let your time be soft. The universe will keep spinning. Its clocks will keep dancing. And you will sleep through it all, wrapped in a moment that belongs only to you. Is time just what the mind makes of change? Some nights, when the world is quiet enough and your thoughts float gently just beneath waking, a memory might rise, uninvited, unannounced. You may find yourself standing in a sunlit room that no longer exists, or hearing a voice that hasn't spoken in years, or watching your younger self move through a moment you didn't even know you'd kept. It feels real, doesn't it? Tangible, present. The past becomes a place you can feel, even if you can't return. And maybe that's what memory is, a way the mind stitches time back together. A secret kind of time travel, not with gears and wires, but with breath, with imagination, with the quiet rhythm of neurons reawakening old paths. But memory is tricky. It is not a recorder. It is a storyteller. And it changes. Each time you recall something, you alter it just slightly, tint it with new feelings, rearrange its colors, pull it closer to who you are now. We like to believe memory lives in the past, but really, it lives in the present, rebuilt every time it returns. So what does that mean for time? What does it mean that we can relive what has passed even if we can't change it? Is time something we move through, or something we create moment by moment with our minds? When you dream, the structure of time loosens even more. You might live through hours in just a few minutes. You might meet someone long gone, without confusion. You might begin in one place and wake up in another. Dreams don't need clocks. They don't ask for cause and effect. They don't care what should happen next. And yet, inside a dream, everything feels real, which raises a quiet question. If time can stretch, skip, repeat, and vanish in dreams, how real is it, really? Some scientists and philosophers suggest that time may not be something that exists on its own at all, but rather something that emerges, a side effect of change, a feeling that arises when one moment becomes different from the last. And if nothing changed, if the universe froze perfectly, time might vanish too. Imagine a movie paused on a single frame. No sound, no motion, no shift. Without change, there is no before or after. No then, no now. Just stillness. But the moment something moves, even the tiniest flicker, time begins. Or maybe we should say, time appears. Because what we call time might not be a thing at all. It might be a description. A word we use to describe the way change feels. The way now slips away. The way we remember and forget and remember again. You, right now, are not just a body in a room. You are a collection of moments carried forward. You are made of everything that has ever happened to you. Not just in fact, but in feeling. And when you rest, truly rest, your mind weaves through all of it, sorting, smoothing, letting go, holding on, replaying and reimagining, not to confuse you, but to heal you, to help you grow, to help you sleep. So let it. Let the past visit if it wants. Let the future remain unwritten. Let your mind blur the edges of time until you are no longer moving through it, but simply floating in it, The clock does not own you. The calendar does not define you. You are not made of deadlines. You are made of memory, of wonder, of breath. And as you drift into sleep, you are not leaving time behind. You are entering a gentler form of it. One where change is slow, where seconds are soft, where you decide how fast the world moves. Sleep now. Let time fade. Let dreams take the place of minutes. You are safe. You are whole. And whatever time truly is, it is holding you gently, even now. Is time real, or just something we tell ourselves to make sense of it all? Imagine a world where nothing ever changed. The stars never shifted. The wind never stirred. Hearts never beat. Thoughts never flickered. Everything would be still, frozen in place like a paused photograph. In such a world, time wouldn't just stop. It wouldn't exist at all. Because without change, without difference, without movement from one state to another, what could we possibly measure? That's one of the quiet truths behind time. We only know it's passing because things change. Your breath rises and falls. A shadow shifts. A word is spoken and then gone. And so, we build a story around these changes. We call it time. But what if that story is just that, a story? Some physicists believe that time may be nothing more than a way we describe our experience of change. That at the deepest levels of reality, down at the quantum level, or even below that, time might not exist as a fundamental thing. That it might emerge only when enough complexity comes together to need it. Like a picture emerging only when enough dots are connected. Or a melody only appearing when notes are played in order. To us, time feels so solid, so reliable. But when you peel back the layers, past the clocks and calendars, past the sunrises and birthdays, it becomes slippery, elusive, less like a road we travel, and more like a rhythm we dance to without quite hearing the music. Your brain doesn't actually experience time. It doesn't contain a clock. What it does is construct a sense of time by stringing together sensations, memories, expectations. You remember what just happened. You imagine what might happen next. And from that constant weaving, a timeline emerges, one that feels linear, like a thread pulling you forward. But that thread, it's woven inside your head. And yet, it works. It helps. It holds us together. Because even if time is an illusion, it's a very useful one. It gives us sequence. It gives us story. It lets us learn and grieve and celebrate. It lets us say, not yet, and I remember, and this moment matters. You are living a story written in time. And whether time is real or not, your story is. The way your fingers have held other hands. The way you've waited. The way you've watched clouds drift by while your thoughts drifted even farther. The way you've said goodbye and didn't know it was the last time. The way you've stayed. And right now, as your body begins to rest and your mind grows quieter, you are slipping into a place where time softens, where its lines blur, where the ticking stops and the stillness begins. This moment, the one you are in now, is neither past nor future. It's not even really now, in the way we usually think of it. It's just presence, awareness, the feeling of being without needing to measure it. And that may be the closest we ever get to touching something beyond time. There are traditions, ancient and modern, that speak of timelessness, of moments so full, so wide, so deep, that they are no longer part of the clock. Moments of meditation, of awe, of love, of sleep. And maybe what we call rest is our way of brushing against that place, of slipping through the illusion for a little while and remembering what it feels like to just be, without before or after. So let yourself fall into that now. No hurry, no pressure, no need to define what's real. Time may be an illusion, but the comfort you feel is not. The safety you rest in is not. The softness of this moment is not. Let the illusion carry you. Let the rhythm become breath. Let the story of your life pause gently between chapters. You are here. You are safe. And for now, that is all you need. Sleep deeply. Sleep freely. There is nothing to chase. No clock to obey. Only stillness. Only warmth. Only the dream of time, breathing with you in the dark. Could time have a beginning or an end? We're taught to imagine time like a line, a neat, endless string, stretching from the past behind us to the future ahead. A straight arrow, with us riding somewhere in the middle. It feels logical, clean, easy to picture. But the universe has never been fond of straight lines. It bends light. It curves space. It loops gravity. So maybe, just maybe, time isn't a line at all. Maybe it's something rounder, softer, stranger. Let's begin at what we call the beginning, the Big Bang. A moment of unimaginable density and energy. Not an explosion in space, but the beginning of space and time. Yes, time too is said to have begun there. Before that moment, there was no before, because before is a time word, and without time, there is no before, no after, no now. This is where language fails us, where the mind stretches and bends, trying to make sense of something that doesn't fit into sentences. We ask, what came before the universe? But the question dissolves. Like mist when you reach for it, there was no came, there was no before. Just the beginning of time itself, unfolding like breath after holding it too long. So time had a beginning, we say. But does it have an end? Some think it might. That one day, the universe will stretch too far and cool too much until nothing changes anymore. No movement, no warmth, no stars. A stillness so complete that time, which only moves when things change, might stop altogether. Not suddenly, not like turning off a light, but slowly, softly. The long exhale after a song. Others imagine a return, that the universe might collapse back in on itself. Time folding back into silence, and maybe begin again. A loop, a cycle, a breath in, a breath out. Time not as a line, but as a circle. And in that view, Nothing is ever truly lost. Moments recur, not identically, but eternally. Like waves, like seasons, like dreams. There's also the possibility that time might go on forever, not with drama, but with patience. A quiet, infinite stretch of becoming, of new stars, new moments, new chances. No end, only continuation. And where are you in all this? Here, now, in the only moment you can ever truly touch. This one, this breath, this pause. You don't have to decide what time really is. You don't have to solve its shape. You only have to rest within it. Because while philosophers and scientists stretch their minds around beginnings and ends, you are already inside the story. You are already part of the rhythm. You don't need to reach the first note or the last to feel the music. You are hearing it now. You are moving with it. And when you sleep, you move deeper still, into a place where time bends, drifts, floats. So let it. Let go of the straight line. Let go of needing to know where it started or when it ends. There is no rush. There is only rest. And wherever time began, and wherever it may go, it holds you gently now, quiet, safe, drifting softly on the breath of forever. Would time still exist if there were no one to feel it pass? Imagine, just for a moment, that the world is empty. No people, no animals, no voices or footsteps or thoughts. The sun still rises. The planets still spin. The stars still hum their quiet light across the black. But no eyes to see it. No minds to count it. No hearts to remember what came before. The question drifts in slowly, like mist over still water. Would time still be there, ticking away, if there were no one to hear it? It's not such a strange question. In fact, it's one that scientists and philosophers alike still wrestle with. Because time feels so deeply personal. It exists inside our bodies, in our pulses, in our breath, in the slow unfolding of memory. We mark it with stories, age, and seasons. But if we were gone, if all awareness vanished, would time itself vanish too? Some say yes. They argue that time, like color or sound, is something the mind helps create. That without perception, there's no experience of before and after, no flow from one moment to the next. That time, in this sense, is not a thing, but a relationship, a way of comparing change, a way of saying, this came before that, based only on how we feel it. Others say no. They remind us that clocks keep ticking, even when we don't look at them. That radioactive atoms decay whether or not we're paying attention. That the universe seems to evolve with or without an audience. From that view, time isn't something we make. It's something we live inside. Whether we're there to see it or not, the stars will burn, the light will stretch, the black holes will pulse and fade. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere softer in the space between. Perhaps there are two kinds of time. There is measured time, the kind that science captures in equations, that satellites track and calendars record. And then there is felt time, the kind you carry in your chest, the kind that swells when you fall in love and slows when you are waiting in silence, the kind that dreams slip through unconcerned. Measured time may march forward, with or without us. But felt time, that needs a witness. It needs someone like you. Someone who remembers the sound of a loved one's voice long after it's gone. Someone who holds on to the way morning light used to fall through a window. Someone who wonders, as you are now, how time feels so real when it's made of things we cannot touch. You are the witness. You are the presence that lets time unfold. Not because you control it, but because you feel it. And maybe, just maybe, that is what gives time its shape. Not its measurements, but its meaning. Without a mind to hold the moment passes without memory. Without a heart to ache for yesterday or hope for tomorrow, there is no story, just movement. And so you are not just living in time, you are giving it life. Each time you close your eyes and remember, each time you pause to breathe and feel the now, each time you ask where the time went, you are making it real. So lie back. Let the weight of the day dissolve. You don't need to keep track anymore. The clocks can tick. The stars can turn. But here, in this soft bed, you are allowed to let go. Let time be what it wants to be. Unwatched, uncounted, free. You are not missing anything. You are not falling behind. You are resting inside the mystery, and that is more than enough. Time, without you, may keep moving, but time, with you, becomes something more. It becomes memory, and story, and meaning, and now it becomes sleep. Close your eyes. Let the world turn. You are part of what makes the turning beautiful. And for tonight, you are allowed to simply drift. How does the body know what time it is? Even when we don't. Long before we learned to carve hours into stone. Long before we looked up at the sky and gave names to days and months and years, the body already knew. It felt the rhythm of darkness and light. It felt the pull of the moon. It felt hunger come and go, sleepiness, stillness, wakefulness. The body has always kept its own kind of time. You may not notice it in the rush of a busy day, but deep inside you, time is still humming. Your heart beats with a rhythm. Your breath flows in cycles. Your cells divide, repair, dissolve, repeat. There is a clock in your brain, tiny, quiet, buried in a place called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it watches the light, senses the dark, and tells your body, now is the time to wake. Now is the time to rest. Now is the time to repair. Now is the time to sleep. Even in perfect darkness, even sealed away from clocks and calendars, your body remembers. It keeps time, not with numbers, but with needs, with hormones and temperature and pulse, with the rhythm of digestion, the softness of eyelids, the slowing of thought. We call it a circadian rhythm, but that word is just a label for something ancient, something wise. The body knows what time it is, and maybe that's a kind of miracle. That even when we feel lost in time, floating through days that blur together, even when we forget what day it is, even when we sleep past the alarm, even then, the body remembers. It remembers how to slow, how to breathe, how to heal. When you are sick, it tells time through fever and fatigue. When you are grieving, it tells time through the weight in your limbs. When you are in love, it tells time through adrenaline, through lightness, through the way an hour can vanish in a blink. And when you rest, like you are now, your body doesn't just pause. It moves through a different kind of time, a time made for restoration, for repair, for softness. Sleep isn't the absence of time. It's another rhythm, slower, deeper, wider. Your temperature drops, your muscles release, your breath changes pace. Your brain waves slow and then begin to dance, cycling through stages that carry you far from waking, far from the clock, far from the noise of counting. You don't have to guide it. You don't have to understand it. You only have to let go. Because your body knows. It knows when to begin and when to pause. It knows how to carry you across the dark hours. It knows how to rise again with the morning. And so, you don't need to chase time tonight. You don't need to keep track. You don't need to worry about how long you've been lying here. The clock on the wall is not your keeper. The calendar does not own your peace. Right now, there is only one time that matters, the time inside you, the time of rest, the time of soft repair. So let your breath move in waves. Let your body sink. Let your thoughts wander without direction. You are safe. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Exactly when you need to be. And as your body remembers how to sleep, let your mind drift away from the ticking and into the rhythm that has always held you. Time will continue, but for now, it belongs to you. Can the present truly be caught, or is it always slipping away? We live our lives in the present, or so we like to believe. We say things like living in the now or being present, as if there's a place we can step into and stay, a still moment, a fixed point. But the moment we try to hold it, it vanishes. The present is gone before we can name it. It slips through our fingers like mist. We reach for it, but by the time we've said now, it's already then. So what is the present really? If the past is memory and the future is imagination, then the present should be simple, but it isn't. Even your brain, for all its miraculous speed, lives a little behind. Light enters your eyes, sound touches your ears, and then, milliseconds later, your mind catches up, interpreting, stitching, arranging. Everything you see and hear and feel is already slightly in the past. Even this moment, right now, is not quite now. Not in the way we think. And yet, the present is where everything happens. It's the only place where you can act, breathe, change, rest, the only place where life unfolds. The past is gone. The future isn't here, but the present is the page that's still being written. It's the doorway between memory and dream. But what if it's not a point? What if it's a stretch? A soft field of awareness, just wide enough for a breath, a thought, a glance. Not a pinprick in time, but a room inside it. A place you can be, even if you can't stay. Some philosophers say the present isn't real at all. That time is already laid out like a map. Past, present, and future all equally there. And we're simply moving through it, experiencing it one slice at a time, like a flashlight scanning across a painting. Others say the present is all that is, that the past and future are illusions, and only now truly exists. And still others say time isn't even a thing at all, just a feature of how we process change. But for you, here, now, resting in the quiet, none of that needs to be answered. Because the present, whatever it is felt. It's the warmth in your chest, the slow rise and fall of your breath, the hush between one heartbeat and the next. You may not be able to catch it, but you are it. You are the moment noticing itself. You are the presence flowing through the space where time dissolves. You are not chasing now. You are now. There is peace in that. Not the kind that comes from stillness, but the kind that comes from trust. Trust that you don't need to hold on to this moment for it to hold you. Trust that you don't need to pause time in order to rest. Trust that this breath is enough. So let the future fall away. Let the past soften. Let the present stretch like quiet silk around you. You don't have to think. You don't have to define. You only have to be. Here, now, drifting in the soft space where time pauses, not because it stopped, but because you no longer need to follow. Sleep is a kind of present, too. A place between remembering and expecting. A surrender, a falling. A gentle, silent yes to the rhythm you were never meant to control. So, let the moment go on without you. Let it carry you. Let it become a cradle. You are here. You are safe. And the present, elusive as it may be, is where you will rest tonight. Can anything truly last in a world that's always changing? Time moves. That's what we're told again and again. It rushes forward. It carries us along. It changes everything it touches. People grow older. Cities crumble. Trees fall. Even mountains wear away under the soft, steady breath of time. And yet, there are things that don't seem to vanish. Not completely. Not even as the world keeps turning. Love, grief, hope. A song you haven't heard in years, but still know by heart. The shape of someone's laugh. The scent of a season long past. A memory so vivid it hurts, not because it's gone, but because it never really left. Maybe time can't erase everything. Maybe some things live outside the clock, not untouched, but unlost. You've felt it, haven't you? You remember a place that no longer exists, but when you close your eyes, you can feel the sun on the wall, see the color of the door, Hear the way the floorboards creaked. You remember someone's hand in yours, and even if they're gone, even if the calendar has turned 1,000 pages since, their warmth is still in your skin. You remember moments that felt infinite while they were happening, and still do, in some quiet way. So what is that? Is it a flaw in time? Or is it something more beautiful? Maybe it's proof that not all of us is made of seconds. Maybe something deeper than memory carries meaning across the years. We are told everything fades, but we know better. We know that love, once given, leaves an imprint. That kindness, once shared, continues to echo. That stories, once told, become part of others, stretching beyond the moment, passed from voice to voice. Time may keep moving, but it doesn't carry everything away. It folds, it holds, it wraps old moments into new ones, like roots beneath a forest, still there, still living, even if we can't always see them. You are made of time, yes, of breath and age and change. But you are also made of what doesn't change, of love that lingers, of songs that stay with you, of the way your heart still opens again and again, no matter how many years pass. And maybe, just maybe, that's what lasts. Not the details, but the feeling, the presence, the care. So tonight, if you're missing something or someone, if you're holding a memory like a fragile stone, don't be afraid. Time hasn't taken it. It's right here, tucked into the folds of your breath. Not as it was, but as it is, transformed, softened, but still glowing. Sleep is a kind of timelessness, too. A place where love can visit again, without needing permission. Where time steps aside, and only the feeling remains. So let it. Let the memory come. Let the love stay. Let the moment be enough. You don't have to move forward tonight. You don't have to let go. You only have to rest. Time will continue its quiet path. But the things that truly matter, the things that feel like forever, they'll wait for you here. Always. Softly, lovingly. Outside the ticking of the clock is sleep, a place where time stops or just changes shape. Close your eyes and you'll begin to drift, not just away from thought, but from the way you usually know time. The neat hours, the measured minutes, the invisible lines that divide your day like tiles on a floor. All of that begins to loosen when sleep approaches. You've felt it before, haven't you? That moment when you're no longer sure if it's been 5 seconds or 50. When your thoughts begin to dissolve and reorder themselves into something dreamlike. When time stops behaving the way it's supposed to. We think of sleep as unconsciousness. But it isn't quite that. It's a state of presence without measurement. A place where you can move through hours in what feels like a blink, or remain in a single sensation that seems to stretch forever. And maybe that's the gift of sleep, that it lets us step outside the ticking of the clock, if only for a while. Your body still moves through rhythms, even when you aren't aware. You pass through cycles, light sleep, Deep sleep, dream. Your temperature drops, your heartbeat slows, your breath softens, and all the while, time passes, but differently. Have you ever woken from a dream that felt like a lifetime? Have you ever opened your eyes after what seemed like minutes, only to find the whole night had gone by? Sleep reshapes time, bends it, folds it inward, not to confuse you, but to help you rest, to help you process, to help you heal. In dreams, time doesn't follow the rules. It leaps, it loops, it rewrites itself. You can move from childhood to tomorrow in a single breath. You can hold conversations that unfold over imagined days and still wake just minutes later. This isn't a flaw. This is a kind of freedom. Your mind, when you sleep, no longer needs clocks. It doesn't require cause and effect in the same way. It simply is. And in that, there is peace. It's no wonder that so many ancient cultures viewed sleep as a sacred time, a doorway not just into the subconscious, but into another layer of reality altogether. The Australian Aboriginal concept of dreamtime imagined a space beyond the ordinary, a place where creation happened and still happens, a timeless realm accessible through dreams. In other traditions, sleep was seen as a time when the soul wandered, free of the body, visiting places the waking mind could never go. What if those old stories hold something we've forgotten? What if sleep really is a visit to timelessness? Not an escape, but a return. A reminder that you are more than your schedule, more than your responsibilities, more than the hour on the clock. Right now, as you lie here, you're approaching that quiet threshold, that gentle doorway into time's softer form. You don't have to do anything. There's no train to catch, no moment to grasp. Just this slow falling inward. This breath, this pause. Let time become fuzzy at the edges. Let the calendar fade. Let the ticking grow distant. You are about to enter the in-between. Not outside time, but somewhere time goes to rest. And you are welcome there. So drift. Let the minutes blur. Let the world become soft. You are safe. You are carried. You are entering the part of the night where time no longer rules. It simply hums. And you float within it gently until morning. Why do some moments last forever and others disappear in a blink? There are moments you wish would never end. A warm evening, the light just right, the way a conversation flows like a river with no end, the sound of someone's laughter, effortless, familiar, a stillness so perfect, even the birds seem to pause and listen. And yet, those moments pass. They always do. Sometimes faster than you can hold them. Other moments drag, stretching endlessly. Waiting rooms, grief, boredom, times when minutes feel like hours, and you wonder if the clock has stopped altogether. So, why does time feel so different, depending on what we're living through? Science tells us there's no such thing as a single shared time experience. We all carry our own personal clocks, not just on our wrists or phones, but deep inside our minds and bodies. These inner clocks don't measure time by seconds. They measure it by emotion, by awareness, by meaning. Time flies when you're fully engaged, when your brain is lit up, when everything feels new or exciting or joyful. The mind doesn't waste energy measuring in those moments. It just experiences. But when you're waiting, or afraid, or tired, the brain switches into a kind of survival mode. It checks the clock again and again. It marks each passing second. It feels the slowness. This is why time moved differently when you were a child. Everything was new. A day felt like a world. An hour could stretch like magic. Your mind was full of firsts. First friends, first fears, first wonders. And then, slowly, things became familiar. Time began to move faster. Not because the clock changed, but because you did. Time is not just something we live through. It's something we feel. It's textured. It expands and contracts. It leaves fingerprints. Some memories feel closer than yesterday. Some years vanish like mist. Some conversations stay with you forever. Some months leave barely a trace. You may even share an experience with someone. Same place, same moment. And yet, your sense of time is entirely different from theirs. That's not a glitch. That's what makes time human. That's what makes it yours. So tonight, as you lie here, between today and tomorrow, remember this. Your time does not have to match anyone else's. You are not required to move faster. You are not falling behind. You are not late to anything. You are simply living in the rhythm your heart needs right now. Let your breath guide the minutes. Let your heartbeat write the tempo. Let sleep arrive slowly or all at once. The world will turn. The clocks will tick. But here, in this moment, you can rest in the time that feels right to you. Maybe that's what sleep really is. A return to your own time. A way to let go of everyone else's clocks and move at the speed of dreams, unhurried, unmeasured, free. So let your inner time stretch now. Let it soften. Let it breathe. There is no rush, no finish line, no race, only this breath, only this feeling, only this quiet unraveling of the day. You are where you need to be. You are when you need to be. And that is more than enough. Why do we always look ahead? And what are we really chasing? There's something always just out of reach. Something we move toward even in our quietest moments. Tomorrow, later, next week, next year. It waits like a whisper on the horizon, soft, shapeless, full of possibility. We plan for it. We worry about it. We build our lives around it. And yet, no matter how fast we walk, the future stays just one step ahead. You've probably felt it. How we live in a kind of constant anticipation. Even now, as you lie still, maybe there's some faint thought about what needs to be done tomorrow. A to-do list forming without permission. A worry trying to fold itself into your rest. That's what the future does. It knocks, even when we're trying to sleep. But here's the strange part. We never actually get to the future. Not really. because the moment it arrives, it's no longer the future. It becomes now. Then it slips quietly into the past, like a wave that rises, curls, and breaks, beautiful for a moment, then gone. And still, we chase it. Not because we're foolish, but because we're hopeful. We imagine better things waiting. We imagine clarity. We imagine peace. We imagine becoming the version of ourselves we haven't quite reached yet. We are creatures of becoming, always in motion, always reaching, always stretching towards something that hasn't happened. But maybe the future isn't meant to be reached. Maybe it's meant to guide us, to give us direction, but not destination. To light the path, even if the path is always changing. And maybe the peace we seek doesn't live in some distant day. Maybe it lives here, in the soft understanding that the future is not a place. It's a feeling, a promise we keep making to ourselves, that things will grow, that we will learn, that love will come and go and come again. That change is always possible. Even the stars you see in the sky tonight are from the past. Light that's taken years, decades, millennia to reach your eyes. You are always surrounded by the past, even when you think you're looking forward. And yet, that starlight feels like now, feels like presence, feels like beauty. Maybe the future is like that too. Maybe it doesn't wait ahead. Maybe it folds back into now. Maybe every imagined future is just a different angle on this moment. You don't need to chase it tonight. You don't need to solve it. The calendar will keep turning. The sun will rise without effort. You can stay right here. Because even though the future calls, even though it sings its sweet, distant song, you are allowed to rest between the notes, to pause, to listen, to let go of the need to answer. So close your eyes. Let the future wait. Let it be soft, undefined, unhurried. It will find you when it's ready. And when it does, you will meet it as you are now. Gently, lovingly, one quiet moment at a time. Will time ever stop? And what would that even mean? When we speak of endings, we often imagine something sudden, a door closing, a light going out, a final page turned in silence. But time, if it ends at all, probably won't end that way. Not like a bang, not like a full stop, more like a slow fade, a long breath drawn out so gradually that we may not even notice it's happened. Like music that gets softer and softer until there's no more sound, and yet the silence still feels like part of the song. Science has its theories, of course. Some say the universe will expand forever, stretching out so far, so fast, that stars grow cold and galaxies slip beyond each other's reach. They call it the heat death, a time when energy is spread so thin that nothing more can happen. No spark, no change, no possibility. And if time is change, then in that cold, quiet end, time itself may stop. Others believe the cosmos may one day collapse inward, reversing its expansion and folding in on itself in a great contraction, a big crunch. And in that compression, time could curl back into itself, a loop, a return, not to the same beginning, but to some beginning, a reset we'll never know we're part of. Then there are more poetic theories that the universe might continue, but with time breaking down at its edges. That time could fragment, or slow, or stretch until what we call a second takes a century. Not vanishing, just becoming something else. Something our minds weren't built to grasp. But here's the quiet truth. You don't have to understand the end of time to feel peace now. Because time is not a threat. It is not chasing you. You are not racing it. You are riding it. And one day, whether minutes from now or billions of years into the future, it will carry you to rest. But perhaps it already does. Every night, every time you fall asleep, every time you let go of the need to count or compare. Sleep is a kind of ending, a soft rehearsal, not of death, but of surrender. And maybe that's why we need sleep so badly. Not just to restore our bodies, but to remember what it feels like to stop measuring, to stop striving, to let the clock slip out of our hands and just be. If time does end one day, we won't need to worry. We won't need to fight it, because it won't feel like a collapse. It will feel like release, like a tide going still, like the breath you're taking right now. This moment, quiet, slow, unseen, is already beyond time in its own way. You aren't moving forward. You aren't falling behind. You are suspended. And what a soft place that is to rest. So, if you've ever feared time, feared running out of it, feared what lies beyond it, let that fear go now. Time isn't your enemy. It is your lullaby, your rhythm, your companion. And when it ends, if it ends, it won't slam shut. It will simply stop needing to be counted. Close your eyes. Let your breath be timeless. You don't need the next minute. You don't need the last hour. You are here. And the end of time, whenever it comes, will feel a lot like this. Still, safe, held. Is there a place beyond time? And could we ever touch it? Somewhere deep in your chest, beneath the thinking, beneath the remembering, there might be a part of you that doesn't feel bound by time at all. A part that simply is. A quiet awareness that doesn't change with the hour or the calendar. A presence that watches the world turn, softly, patiently, without urgency. You may have felt it before, in those rare moments where everything seems to pause, just for a second, and you're filled with a sense that something larger, something older, is looking back at you from inside yourself. We call it stillness, or peace, or presence. But perhaps what we're really feeling in those moments is timelessness. Not a fantasy, not a distant realm, just an experience. A feeling that arises when we let go of needing to measure everything. When we stop asking, what time is it, and begin to ask, what is this? In deep meditation, people describe a state where time disappears, not because they fall asleep, not because they forget, but because the mind becomes so quiet, so tuned in to now, that before and after lose meaning. They sit, they breathe, they watch. and the boundaries of time dissolve like fog in morning sun. In moments of awe, when we see something vast, beautiful, incomprehensibly grand, time seems to vanish too. Looking up at the stars, holding a newborn, hearing a piece of music that breaks your heart. The seconds still pass, but they don't matter. You are no longer moving through time. You are simply in it, as if it has opened up and swallowed you whole. Even grief, strange as it sounds, can carry you there. That moment when everything stops, when the world feels frozen, the stillness after loss. Time doesn't behave the same way in sorrow. It stretches, contracts, vanishes, not out of magic, but out of depth. Timelessness, then, may not be a place we go after life. It may be something we touch here, in sleep, in stillness, in love. It isn't an escape, it's a return, a remembering of what it feels like to exist without comparison, without movement, without next. And maybe that's what the soul is, if such a thing exists. Not a shape or a spark or a shadow, but the part of you that's always existed. The part that isn't made of age or memory or change. The part that watches time, but isn't made of it. In physics, there are theories of a universe where time is not fundamental, where underneath the equations, there is only relationship, only connection, where time is a layer, not the base. And in dreams, you already know what that feels like, to float through moments, to arrive without traveling, to know without learning, to experience a story without knowing where it began or where it ends. So, what would it mean to live like that more often? Not to abandon the clock, not to stop showing up for your life, but to understand that beneath the ticking, beneath the motion, beneath the plans and the worries and the long list of some days, there is a place you can return to, a room without a ceiling, a breath without a number, a kind of home that time can't touch. You're there now, in a way. Your thoughts have slowed. Your breath has softened. The day has receded. And here, in this space where time folds in on itself, you are still. Not lost, not late. Just here. Let this moment stretch. Let it widen until there is no edge. Let it hold you until sleep comes gently, without asking permission. You don't need to track time tonight. You don't need to measure rest. You are not wasting anything. Timelessness is not far. It's already inside you, waiting. So sleep now. Let time fall away. You are part of something older than minutes, wider than years, quieter than clocks. And in that stillness, you are enough. Are we living through time, or are we writing it as we go? There's something very human about telling stories. We do it without even realizing. When someone asks how your day went, you don't list every second. You pick the pieces that matter. You choose the beginning. You find the middle. You give it an end. You shape a moment into meaning. You make a memory out of motion. Maybe that's what time is too. Not just a line we walk, but a narrative we create. Not something fixed, but something told. You aren't just passing through time, you're interpreting it. You're stringing together events, choices, glances, pauses into something that feels like a story. That's why some moments echo louder than others. That's why a single hour can define a year. That's why we look back and see chapters, even when the pages were never marked. Your life, in this way, is not just lived, it's written, not in ink, not on paper, but in memory, in emotion, in the way you recall a moment and decide what it meant. Even the hardest days are stories. Stories of survival, of change, of quiet courage. And the quiet moments, like this one, matter too. A story doesn't need action to be real. It needs presence. It needs a heartbeat. It needs someone, you, to feel it. Sometimes we forget this. We think life is something happening to us, outside of our control. But you are more than a passenger. You are the narrator. You are the storyteller. And time, as strange and slippery as it can be, gives you the canvas to do that. Think about how your past feels now. Not just the facts, but the feelings. How certain days have softened. How certain people live differently in your memory than they did in your calendar. That's not distortion. That's meaning making. That's the art of living. And the future? The story you haven't written yet. The open page. We imagine it every day, sometimes with hope, sometimes with fear, often without even realizing we're doing it. We imagine conversations. We imagine changes. We imagine who we might become. It's easy to forget that the future isn't a place we arrive. It's a continuation of the story we're already telling. Word by word, breath by breath, dream by dream. And here, as you rest, you are between lines, between pages. You don't have to write right now. You don't have to decide what comes next. You can let the story pause, just for a little while. The story will wait. It always does. So close the book for tonight. Not forever. Just until morning. You are the keeper of your own time. The writer of your own rhythm. And even in stillness, the story continues. Let sleep be the chapter where nothing needs to be said, where silence becomes meaning, where peace becomes the plot. You are not behind. You are not unfinished. You are exactly where the story needs you to be. Let your breath carry the tale forward. Let your dreams color in the margins. You are safe in this moment, and when you wake, the next line will come. Gently, in its own time. Is human time just one rhythm in a much larger song? Sometimes, when you feel overwhelmed by the ticking of the clock, the meetings, the deadlines, the birthdays that seem to arrive too quickly, it helps to remember the earth has her own way of keeping time. She moves through cycles, not minutes, through seasons, not seconds. Her rhythms are older, slower, deeper than ours. And long before we named hours or built calendars, her time was the only time there was. The earth spins and a day is born. She tilts and seasons shift. She circles the sun, and we begin again. And all of it happens without needing to be counted, without alarms, without reminders. You are part of this rhythm, even if you've forgotten. Your bones carry the memory of sunlight and shadow. Your body responds to the length of the day. You sleep when it's dark. You bloom when it's warm. You turn inward when it's cold. The earth's time lives in you, quietly, in your breath, in your blood, in the way your thoughts begin to slow when the night grows long. And if her rhythms are slower than ours, if her time is broader, less precise, that doesn't make it less real. It makes it more forgiving, more patient, more true. A tree takes decades to grow. A mountain takes millennia to rise. A river carves stone not in minutes, but in centuries. And yet, none of them are late. They don't rush. They don't panic. They simply become, and so can you. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to change slowly. You are allowed to rest without guilt. Right now, as you lie here, the earth is spinning beneath you, carrying you gently through space, turning toward morning, even if you can't feel it. Your body is part of that turning. Your breath is part of that rhythm. And sleep, deep, real sleep, is a return to that larger cycle. Forget the clock. Forget the schedule. For now, your time is not measured in hours. It is measured in calm, in quiet, in the way your body softens into the dark, like soil receiving rain. You do not need to hurry toward rest. You are already resting. You are already enough. Let the earth keep time for you tonight. Let her lull you with her breath. Let her hold you in the rhythm that has always been here. Before cities, before calendars, before even names. You are safe inside her turning. You are whole inside her quiet. Sleep now, child of time and stone and sky. There is no need to rush. The earth is turning, and she will carry you through the night. What do the oldest lights in the sky know about time that we don't? Look up, even just in your mind, and picture the stars. They seem so constant, so still, so far away they almost feel eternal. But they are not still. They are not frozen. They are not even now. Every star you see, every soft shimmer against the dark, is already a memory. A whisper of light that left its home years ago, decades ago, centuries, even millennia ago, and only just now it reaches you. You are not seeing them as they are. You are seeing them as they were. Some of the stars in our night sky have already burned out. They are gone in truth, but their light, gentle, ancient, still travels, still speaks, still shines, and that is one of the strangest, most beautiful truths about time. It can fold. It can stretch. It can echo long after the source is silent. The stars have always been our oldest clocks. Before watches and calendars, before sundials and seasons, we looked up and told time by their stories. We watched them rise. We watched them drift. We gave them names. We turned them into myths and maps and memories. They taught us to notice cycles, to measure years not by numbers, but by the slow turning of light, to wait patiently for things to return. And yet, even they are not untouched. Stars are born, they shine, they swell, they collapse. Some become giants. Some vanish into darkness so deep that not even time escapes. A black hole, for example, is more than a collapsed star. It's a place where time itself behaves differently. Closer to its edge, time slows. Not just in theory, but in truth. An hour near a black hole could be years elsewhere. Time is not the same everywhere, not even close. And you, lying still, breathing slow, wrapped in your own soft gravity, are feeling that in your own way. Because time doesn't move the same when you're resting, when you're healing, when you're remembering. There are seconds that feel like hours, and hours that disappear in an instant. There are moments, like now, that feel outside of time entirely, and maybe that's the closest we'll ever come to knowing what the stars know. Not by traveling far, but by becoming still. Still enough to notice the breath. Still enough to feel the heartbeat. Still enough to let the light of 1,000 years touch your skin, even if only in imagination. The stars are not measuring your progress. They are not waiting for you to catch up. They are simply shining, as they always have, as they always will, for as long as time will allow. And so can you. Let yourself shine in this moment. Let yourself glow with rest. You do not need to chase the future. You do not need to rewind the past. Just breathe. You are the witness to an ancient light. You are the listener to a cosmic story that began before you were born and will continue long after. And right now, in this small moment between thoughts, you are timeless, too. Sleep beneath the stars. Even if you can't see them, they see you. They remember. They keep watch. They whisper across time. You are not alone. You are part of something vast. You are made of light, too. Is time the same as eternity? Or are they two very different things? There's a word we hear often, but rarely pause to understand. Forever. It slips into vows, into lullabies, into stories whispered to children at bedtime. We use it when we want to promise that something won't change, that something will last, that something will be untouched by time. But what is forever, really? Is it just time with no end? Or is it something else entirely? Time, as we know it, is full of edges, beginnings and endings, starts and stops. Moments that open like windows, then close quietly behind us. But forever doesn't open or close. It simply is. Imagine a moment, not as a dot on a timeline, but as a space, a room, a feeling. Now, imagine that feeling never fading, never changing, not because it's frozen, but because it's whole. That might be the closest our minds can come to imagining eternity, not an endless stretch of time, but a place outside of time. A state where change no longer matters because nothing is missing, because nothing is incomplete, because nothing is waiting to happen. It's hard to grasp because we live by clocks. We're taught that everything must grow or end, that moments vanish as soon as they arrive. But perhaps there are moments that don't. Moments so full, so wide, so quietly perfect that they echo forever. Like the moment someone you love says your name in a way no one else ever has. Like the first time you feel truly seen. Like the hush of snowfall when the world forgets to make noise. These are not long moments. They do not stretch on. But they linger. They stay with you. They defy the rules of time not by lasting longer, but by meaning more. So maybe forever is not something you find on a clock. Maybe it's something you feel in your chest. A kind of stillness that doesn't pass. A kind of love that doesn't change shape, even as everything else does. Even science wonders about forever. Some physicists speak of a block universe, a model where all moments in time exist at once. Like a great library, where every page already exists, and we are simply reading them in order. In that view, forever isn't waiting for us. It's already here. We're in it. We just don't notice, because our minds move in sequence, because we live story by story, page by page. But when we rest, when we sleep, something in us remembers the wider view. Dreams unfold, without before or after. Feelings arrive, without names at all. Time goes soft around the edges, and that's where you are now. At the edge of a moment that isn't measured, at the edge of a kind of forever. You don't need to stay awake to find it. You don't need to understand it. You just need to let go. Of the hour, the day, the story. Let yourself fall into a place where clocks don't follow. Where the breath slows and softens and forgets what came before. Where the world narrows not out of fear, but out of peace. There, in that hush, is the feeling of forever. Not endless, but whole. Not loud, but full. Not far away, but right here. Sleep now. Let the idea of time drift away like leaves on still water. Let eternity hold you gently, not as a destination, but as a quiet truth you've carried all along. Do moments ever truly end, or do they just change where they live? Some say time moves forward, that once a moment is gone, it vanishes, slips into the past like sunlight into dusk, like the last note of a song hanging just a little too long in the air. But if that's true, why do we feel it again so easily? Why can a smell pull you back 20 years? Why can a photograph open a door you thought was locked? Why can silence sometimes sound exactly like someone you miss? Because time, for all its motion, leaves footprints. Not outside, but inside. Not in the calendar, but in you. Moments become memory. And memory is how time lingers. It's not just remembering facts. It's the weight of a coat that doesn't fit you anymore. The way the light came through a certain window. The sound of your name on someone's lips who doesn't say it anymore. These things don't stay in the world. They stay in you. That's how time changes. Not by disappearing, but by becoming something softer. Sometimes memory is sharp. It arrives like a spark, sudden, bright, uninvited. And sometimes it's like mist. You walk through it before you even know it's there. And when you do know, it's already fading. But no matter how it comes, memory is not passive. It's alive. It breathes. It listens. It waits. You are made of memory in ways you don't even see. The choices you make, the things you fear, the faces you trust, all shaped by time, by what it's given and what it's taken. But maybe that's not sad. Maybe it means nothing is ever truly lost, because memory is not the opposite of presence. It is presence, reshaped. It is how time returns to visit you, how moments circle back, how echoes keep singing. Even sleep carries memory. Your dreams are built from them, not just literal ones, but fragments, feelings, colors, places you've never been, but somehow know. And right now, in this quiet, your memories are watching over you. Not loudly, not to keep you awake, but to remind you that time doesn't leave you behind. It weaves itself into you, thread by thread. You carry the past not as a burden, but as a map. One that leads you gently, night by night, toward who you're becoming. So let the memories drift tonight. Not as regrets, not as noise, but as stars. Each one shining softly in its own corner of you. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to hold them. Just let them flicker. Let them breathe. The past is not calling you back. It is holding your hand as you rest, as you float between thought and sleep, as you become, once again, part of the story that time never stops telling. You are safe in that story. You are remembered in it. You are written into it. So sleep now. Let time become memory. Let memory become peace. And let peace carry you softly into the next moment, the next breath, the next chapter. Are we owning time, or just passing through it for a while? There's a phrase you may have heard before: borrowed time. We say it when something feels fleeting, when we sense that what we have isn't truly ours to keep. A borrowed moment, a borrowed day, a life that, in the end, is always on loan. But what if all of time is borrowed, not in a sorrowful way, but in a sacred one, not as something we lose, but something we get to hold, if only for a while? We enter this world without a clock, no knowledge of hours or calendars, just breath, just warmth, just the rhythm of heartbeat and touch. And slowly, the concept of time is introduced. Bedtimes, birthdays, goodbyes. The language of measurement begins. We learn that things pass, that moments end, that even love in its visible form changes shape. But what if that makes it more beautiful? Think of everything you've ever borrowed: a book, a jacket, a quiet place to stay for the night. None of it was yours forever. But while you had it, while it was in your hands, it mattered. You held it with care. You remembered it. Sometimes You loved it even more because you knew it wouldn't last. Time is like that. You don't own it. You don't control it. You don't keep it. But you get to walk with it. You get to be with it. And sometimes it gives you moments that feel like gifts. A quiet afternoon. A slow breath with someone you love. The long silence after laughter fades, but before it's forgotten. Moments you'll remember without needing a photograph. Moments that feel like more than time. They feel like life. Because that's what borrowed time really means. Not that it's running out, but that it's precious. That it matters more because it's not guaranteed. Even now, lying still in the dark, you are borrowing this hour, this breath, this pause between yesterday and tomorrow. You are not wasting it by resting. You are honoring it. Rest is not the absence of action. It is an act of trust. It says, this moment is enough. It says, I do not need to hold the world together right now. It says, even borrowed time can be sacred. So, let yourself soften. Let the day fall away, piece by piece. Let the ticking of the clock become background music, soft, distant, gentle. You don't need to rush. You don't need to make the most of every second. You only need to be here. This moment is on loan, yes, but it is yours now, and that's what matters. The time you borrow tonight will give you back something in return. Rest, healing, stillness, the quiet rhythm that helps you begin again. So sleep deeply, sleep softly. Time will keep moving, but you don't have to chase it. It is not slipping through your fingers. It is cradling you. It is holding you, even just for now. And that is enough. Can something so small hold so much? It doesn't seem like much. A second, just a flicker, a blink, a breath. We pass through thousands every day without noticing. They tick by without asking for permission, without fanfare. But every once in a while, a second becomes something more. It stretches. It sharpens. It holds the shape of everything. And suddenly, time isn't something you move through. It's something that moves through you. 1 second. The pause before a kiss. The look before a goodbye. The stillness right after bad news. The silence before someone says, I love you. A second can change a life. A second can be a life. And yet we call them small. But the truth is, there's no such thing as an empty second. Each one contains the entire present. Each one is the only place anything actually happens. The past is memory. The future is possibility. But the second you're in now, this one, is the only place where breath and thought and love truly exist. Time is made of these tiny pieces. Not giant, sweeping hours, but soft, invisible seconds. The ones that feel like nothing until they hold everything. And the mind, strange and wonderful, can stretch a second until it becomes infinite. That's why falling feels so long. That's why impact seems to freeze. That's why wonder makes time stop. It's not because the world slows. It's because you notice. Because awareness, deep and quiet, pulls the second into focus. And for a moment, you are fully here. Maybe that's what presence is. Not a long state of calm, but a second, fully felt. And maybe that's what rest is too. Not a full night of perfect sleep, but a second of soft surrender. A second when the body says, yes, I can let go now. A second when the mind, for once, stops holding on. And from that 1 second, 100 more can bloom. A breath can deepen, a muscle can loosen, a thought can soften. Sleep can begin. Right now, you are standing on the edge of a second. It's not in a hurry. It doesn't ask anything of you. It simply arrives, quiet, whole, gentle. Let this second be enough. You don't have to think about the next one. You don't have to carry the last one. You can rest here, in this exact moment. This sliver of time that contains all the softness you need. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where time placed you. Let that be your comfort. Let that be your lullaby. The second is passing. Yes, but in its passing, it gives you peace. Breathe in. Let it begin. Breathe out. Let it go. And with each quiet second that follows, let the weight grow lighter. Let the stillness deepen. Let the hush surround you. 1 second, then another, then sleep. What if time doesn't move forward, but loops quietly around us? We're taught to see time like a road, a long, straight line stretching from the past behind us to the future ahead. We picture ourselves moving along it, step by step, leaving moments behind like footprints fading in the sand. But not every culture sees it this way. And maybe, deep down, neither do we. Because sometimes, time doesn't feel like a line. It feels like a circle, like something returning, like seasons, like memories, like dreams. Have you ever noticed how things come back? A feeling you thought you'd outgrown, a lesson you thought you'd already learned, a sound, a scent, a place, and suddenly you're back inside a moment you thought was long gone. It's not just nostalgia. It's the nature of time itself. Cyclical, rhythmic, not repeating exactly, but spiraling, like the rings of a tree, each new circle holding the one before it. The earth turns, and day becomes night, and day again. The moon waxes and wanes over and over. The tide comes in, then out. The breath rises, then falls. Even your heart knows this rhythm. Even your sleep follows it, and perhaps your life does too. You're not starting from scratch each day. You're not leaving everything behind. You're circling, expanding, returning to places you've been, but seeing them with different eyes. Some days feel like deja vu. Some relationships come back into view after years. Some truths reveal themselves slowly, in cycles. Not because you failed to learn them, but because you're learning them more deeply each time. Time as a line is pressure, always forward, always faster. But time as a circle, that's patience. That's grace. It means there is no rush. It means you will return to what you need. It means nothing truly leaves you. It just moves gently along the spiral. Right now, as you lie still, you're part of a circle too. Not just in your breath or heartbeat, but in this very night. You've slept before. You've rested. You've drifted into quiet. And now, here you are again, returning. Sleep is not a break in your journey. It's the curve of the circle that carries you gently back toward morning. It holds you, just like the earth holds the moon, just like the seasons hold the trees. So don't think of this moment as something you're leaving behind tomorrow. Think of it as something you'll return to, a kind of inner evening that lives in you always, a place where time bends and you are not racing, but floating. Let go of the line. Let the circle carry you. Let this moment wrap around you like a quiet tide. You are not falling behind. You are coming back to yourself. Again and again. In your own time. In your own rhythm. Sleep now. You are safe in the turning. You are whole inside the circle. Is there a part of us that doesn't age, even as time moves on? The body changes. That much is certain. The skin remembers sun and wind. The voice grows softer. The spine bends in ways it never used to. Joints speak in the language of years. Even the way we laugh, so free, so loud, so reckless when we're young, grows quieter. But not because joy fades. Only because something else begins to listen more closely. Something inside that moves more slowly than time, or maybe not at all. Maybe there's a part of us untouched by age. A part that still sees the world with wide eyes. A part that watches the calendar fill up and still hears silence the way a child hears snow. Because time carves us, yes, but not all of us. Some part remains smooth, unweathered, eternal. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone very old, truly looked, and seen something in them that feels young? A glint, a softness, a quiet flame that hasn't dimmed, no matter how many seasons they've walked through? That's the part. That's the clock that doesn't tick. It's not in your thoughts. It's not in your name. It's not even in your memories. It's deeper, quieter, beneath the noise of the days. Some call it the soul. Some call it the witness. Some just call it the center. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to count birthdays. It doesn't divide time into before and after. It doesn't mark how long you've known someone. Only that you've known them. Only that something passed between you that didn't belong to any particular moment. And maybe that's what we mean when we say something is timeless. A song, a feeling, a glance, a truth. Something that lives outside the hourglass. Something that floats just above the turning of the hands. Even sleep can remind you of it. Because when you sleep, you don't age. You don't think about time passing. You don't notice it at all. Sleep is your nightly return to that place, to the center, to the part of you that doesn't need to hurry, that doesn't need to know what year it is, that only needs quiet and breath and the softness of surrender. So lie still now. Let the part of you that is tired rest. Let the part of you that counts hours drift, and let the part of you that is beyond all that. Let it rise. Let it hold you in the hush. You are not late. You are not aging too quickly. You are not running out of time. You are resting in the part of yourself that doesn't move, that doesn't chase, that doesn't change. Let the world go on spinning. Let the days keep unfolding. Let the stars keep whispering across light years of distance. And here, in this one moment, be still, be quiet, be whole. There is no clock here, only peace. Only now, only forever, folded gently into your breath. What would it feel like to let go of time entirely, just for a while? We live by the clock, even when we don't mean to. We check the hour before we leave the house. We plan our days in tidy blocks. We track our sleep, our steps, our deadlines. Time is everywhere, on our wrists, in our pockets, glowing from the corners of rooms. It reminds us where to be, what to do, what comes next. And slowly, almost silently, we forget how to be without it. We forget how to be unmeasured. But there is a part of the night, a part you are slipping into now, where time fades, where it doesn't matter how long you've been lying here or how long it will take to fall asleep, where late and early stop making sense, where you don't have to earn your rest, where you simply are. And that's the place we're walking toward now, the place where time no longer follows. It doesn't vanish. It just lets go of you. Imagine it now. A room with no clocks, no calendars, no reminders. Only soft light. Only still air. Only the quiet rhythm of your breath deepening. In this place, you don't need to ask what time it is, because there is only this breath, and this one, and this one. You are not counting them. You are living them. Let that be your guide. Let your body speak more loudly than the ticking in your mind. It knows when it is tired. It knows when it is safe. It knows when to soften. And it's softening now. You are crossing into a space beyond the hours. A space beyond the need to be productive. Beyond the impulse to check, to plan, to hold everything together. Here, in this space, you are not bound. Not by time. Not by thought. Not even by story. You are allowed to just exist. To be a person lying quietly in the dark, held by something much older than any clock. Even the stars don't keep time the way we do. They drift. They shine. They take their time. And maybe that's the truest way to live. Not rushed, not hurried, but gently unfolding. Let the moments lose their edges. Let the seconds melt into one another. Let the minutes blur until there's no more counting to be done. You're not leaving anything behind. You're not missing anything. You are saying goodbye to time, but only for now. It will be there when you wake, but it doesn't need to come with you into sleep. So close your eyes, if they haven't closed already. Breathe as if time doesn't exist. Rest as if the morning is 1,000 years away. Sleep as if there is nothing left to measure. Because here, in this breath, you are free. You are whole, and time has already let you go. If you could hold just one moment forever, what would it be? We spend so much of our lives moving through moments that we barely notice them. One blends into the next. One task gives way to another. One day finishes just as the next begins. But every once in a while, a second arrives that feels different. Not louder, not bigger, just softer, slower, brighter at the edges somehow. A second that feels like a hand brushing yours, or the hush right before someone says, "It's okay." A second where time doesn't move you forward or pull you back. It simply holds you. And that's what we're reaching for tonight. Not the longest second, not the most dramatic, just the softest one. A moment without resistance, a moment without hurry, a moment that feels like breath. You've felt it before, maybe in the stillness before sleep, when everything has quieted except your heartbeat. Maybe in the feeling of a loved one's arms, or in the warmth of a memory that doesn't ask anything of you. Maybe in a moment of silence so full, so complete, it didn't feel empty at all. Those are soft seconds. They don't ask to be remembered. They don't demand to be named. They just are. And when you notice one, it's enough. And maybe that's what time wants to offer us too. Not just structure and sequence, but softness. Not just movement, but mercy. Maybe time, when we stop chasing it, becomes something gentler. Something like this moment, this second, right now. It's easy to forget that we don't need to do anything special to deserve rest. We don't need to earn stillness. We don't need to wait until everything is done. We can rest now in this 1 second. We can let the clocks fall away. Let the light dim. Let the stories pause. We can trust that the world will keep turning, even without us watching it. We can trust that the breath will keep moving. The heart will keep beating. The stars will keep shining. We can be small here and still be held. So ask yourself, gently, with no pressure at all, if you could hold 1 second forever, what would it feel like? Maybe it would feel like now. Maybe it would feel like this, safe, still, unmeasured. Let the softness of this second cradle you. Let it rock you into rest. Let it blur the edges of your thoughts and hush the noise of the day. You don't need to know what comes next. You don't need to hold on to anything. You can let go. You can float. Time isn't asking anything of you right now. It's just passing quietly by. And in its passing, it leaves behind this moment. This soft, unrepeatable second. This whisper of peace. Sleep now. You've arrived. Not at the end of something, but at the center.